A quiet and important change is happening around the world. Many countries, which are usually friends of the United States, are starting to disagree with it. This is not a small problem. It is a big challenge to how America sells its military airplanes and equipment to other nations. At the heart of this problem is a very well-known airplane called the F-35 Lightning II. This jet is a powerful warplane built by an American company. For many years, the F-35 was meant to show America's strong military power and help its friends work together. It was supposed to be a symbol of unity and trust among countries. But now, the F-35 is causing trouble. The current President of the United States, Donald Trump, started a trade war. This means he put new taxes on goods from other countries, even from America's closest friends. These new taxes are called tariffs. President Trump believes these tariffs will help America, but they are hurting the countries that buy American products, including military jets. These countries are called allies. They have worked closely with America for many years, especially since the Second World War. Now, because of this trade war, these allies are feeling hurt and angry. They are asking a hard question. Why should we buy expensive American weapons if America treats us like enemies in trade? This question is leading to a new kind of fight. Allies are choosing not to buy the F-35. They are looking for other airplanes, perhaps from European countries, instead of the American one. This decision is a way for them to fight back against the trade war. It shows that America's friends do not want to be controlled by these new trade rules. This is a big problem for America, for the F-35 program, and for the strong friendships that have lasted for decades. 2. A small country says no. The small country of Switzerland is well known for staying neutral and for its long history of friendly ties with the United States. But in August 2025, this strong relationship faced a big challenge. President Donald Trump's government suddenly put a very large new tax on products coming from Switzerland. This new tax was 39%, which was more than twice the tax applied to goods from most other European countries. The Swiss government officials in Bern were completely surprised and deeply unhappy about this harsh economic action. Before this, Switzerland had made plans to buy 36 F-35 fighter jets from America. This was a very important and expensive deal, set at $6.8 billion. Swiss officials had spent many years discussing and planning this purchase, defending it against people in their own country who thought European planes would be a better choice. They believed these American jets were necessary for Switzerland's national defense and to work well with other countries' militaries. President Trump stated that Switzerland had an unfair trade balance with the United States. He noted that Switzerland's trade surplus, the amount by which it sold more to America than it bought, had grown very large. During a tense phone call with Swiss President Karim Keller-Sutter, President Trump reportedly said that Switzerland had not done enough to fix this imbalance. However, what Trump did not highlight was that most of Switzerland's exports to the U.S. were not typical goods. About two-thirds were refined gold, which originated elsewhere and was just processed in Switzerland before being sent across the Atlantic. Other main exports included important medicines from companies like Roche and Novartis, precise machinery vital for American manufacturing, and luxury watches. These exports were not part of unfair trade practices. They were products in high demand by Americans. Because of this new tax, the way politicians in Switzerland thought about their country's military plans changed very quickly. Many members of the Swiss parliament, who had previously supported buying the F-35 jets, now questioned why their country should spend billions of dollars on American weapons while the U.S. was using economic pressure against them. Opposition parties, especially the Social Democrats and the Greens, quickly called for the F-35 deal to be canceled. Swiss parliamentarian Fabian Molina clearly stated that it was absolutely absurd to buy American military equipment with one hand and be hit with high taxes with the other. This feeling of unfair treatment made many in Switzerland decide that buying American jets was no longer a good idea. Switzerland's strong reaction showed the first clear sign of problems in America's relationships with its allies. 3. Spain looks to Europe. Spain made a very important choice. They decided they would not buy the F-35 jet from the United States. This decision was different from what other countries might do. Spain chose to look for new airplanes from European countries instead. This move came after American policies caused worry. Spanish defense leaders privately said that President Donald Trump's trade policies were not stable. They worried that America might stop providing spare parts or help with repairs for the jets later. This could happen if there were political disagreements. Spain did not want its national security to depend on such risks. They believed that good technology was not enough if it came with problems and unreliable support. This feeling grew as they saw what was happening with trade. So, Spain decided to focus on planes made in Europe. One option was the Eurofighter Typhoon. This jet is already proven in real combat and is built by a group of countries including Britain, Germany, Italy, and Spain itself. Spain also showed strong interest in a future airplane system. This project is called the Future Combat Air System, or FCAS. It is being developed together by France, Germany, and Spain. This shows a long-term plan for European defense. Spain had set aside a lot of money for new fighter aircraft. This was about $7.24 billion. Now, all this money will go to European companies. This decision helps European defense businesses grow and become stronger. It means jobs and new technology development within Europe instead of in the United States. Spain's choice was a clear sign. It showed a big change in how European countries think about buying military equipment. They were moving away from relying on America for their defense needs. Instead, they wanted to build their own strong military industry. This decision helped European defense companies and showed a new way for Europe to protect itself. This was a step towards Europe being more independent in defense matters. It also showed that countries felt it was risky to rely heavily on one partner, who might change policies often. This made European alternatives more appealing, not just for technology, but for their political reliability. 4. More countries follow. The problem for America grew larger. After Switzerland and Spain, more countries started to question buying military jets and other weapons from the United States. This was a direct result of the trade war started by President Donald Trump. His policies put big taxes on goods from America's friends, making these friends feel like economic enemies. This made many countries rethink their long-term military plans. Portugal, a founding member of NATO, was one of these countries. It had considered buying the advanced F-35 jet from America. But now, Portugal quietly stopped its plans to study the F-35. Portuguese defense officials were concerned about America's long-term reliability as a partner. They were frustrated because they felt President Trump's approach to alliances was too focused on money and trade balances, not shared security. This made them doubt if they could trust America for important military supplies in the future. In Denmark, another important NATO ally, the criticism was even clearer. Important leaders there said that buying American weapons was now a security risk. Rasmus Jarlov, who leads Denmark's Defense Committee in Parliament, publicly stated that his country should try to avoid American weapons if at all possible. This was a very strong statement. Denmark had always been a close friend and had bought a lot of American military technology. Their new concerns showed how deep the problem was becoming. Even Canada, which shares the longest border with the United States and is a very close military partner, began to have doubts. While Canada did not cancel any current agreements, its officials made it clear that future decisions about buying weapons would consider supply chain reliability. This was a polite way of saying they worried about American political interference with their weapon deals. The fact that even Canada felt this way showed the large scale of distrust spreading among America's allies. These moves by Portugal, Denmark, and Canada highlighted a growing trend. Allies were prioritizing their own security and seeking new options away from the U.S. 5. A big money problem. The F-35 fighter jet is one of the most expensive projects ever built. It will cost over $1.7 trillion in its lifetime. To make each jet more affordable, the company, Lockheed Martin, planned to sell thousands of these planes. Many countries around the world were expected to buy the F-35. These international sales are very important.
They help share the massive development costs across many units, which keeps the price of each plane lower. Around 35% of all F-35s were planned for international customers. However, as more countries stop buying the F-35, the program faces a big financial challenge. When countries like Switzerland and Spain decide not to purchase these jets, it means fewer sales overall. When there are fewer planes sold, the cost of making each F-35 goes up. This makes the aircraft more expensive for every buyer.
This includes the United States military, which plans to buy thousands of F-35s for its own Air Force. So, American taxpayers will end up paying more for each jet. Lockheed Martin, the main company behind the F-35, is already feeling the money problem. Their cash flow from daily business has gone down a lot. In a recent period, it dropped from nearly $2 billion to only $200 million. Investors are also worried. The company's stock price has gone down by more than 18% in the last year. This shows that people are concerned about the F-35 program's future success. The impact of fewer F-35 sales goes beyond just Lockheed Martin. The program supports many jobs across America. Over 1,800 different companies in 45 states work as suppliers for the F-35. They make parts and provide services. When international orders decrease, these smaller American businesses get less work. This puts many American jobs at risk in different communities. The financial difficulties of the F-35 program show how important international partnerships are for America's economy and its defense industry. This is a very big money problem. 6. A weaker America. President Trump's trade war had a big effect. It made America's friends, or allies, feel less secure. These alliances, like NATO, became weaker. Trust between the U.S. and its longtime partners started to break. For Russia and China, this was a clear win. They had tried for a long time to divide the Western alliance. Now, President Trump's actions were doing it for them. Russian military experts openly spoke about America's alliances falling apart. China, too, watched with interest as U.S. allies began to seek other options. Both nations were ready to step in, offering their own military equipment and new partnerships to countries looking for alternatives to American defense systems. European countries saw this as a serious problem. They worried about depending too much on America for their defense. What if the U.S. stopped providing spare parts or support for political reasons? So they decided to become more independent. European leaders began to actively push for greater strategic autonomy. This meant they wanted to be able to make their own choices about security without strong influence from the U.S. They started to focus on building their own powerful weapons. They increased funding for projects like the European Defense Fund. This fund helped support new projects and companies creating advanced military technology within Europe. Programs like the Future Combat Air System in Europe got more support. The aim was to build strong European defense industries that could provide weapons and systems as good or even better than those from the US. This signaled a big shift in how Europe viewed its defense future. The idea of NATO working together, known as interoperability, became harder. If countries use different types of weapons, it is harder for them to fight as one group. Some smaller NATO members had invested a lot in US weapons. Now they felt unsure about their choices. The alliance began to split into different technology groups. This made NATO less strong and less ready to face dangers together. The trade war was not just about money. It changed how countries saw America. It made America's global power less strong. Allies started to value political reliability more than just technology. They were choosing to be independent, even if it cost more. This was a big change in world power. 7. Worry in Washington. Inside Washington, D.C., many important people felt a growing worry. The trade war, started by President Donald Trump, was causing serious problems. It was not just hurting business, it was weakening America's power and safety around the world. Old friends were becoming unhappy with the U.S. At the Pentagon, America's military leaders were very concerned. They saw that long-standing friendships with other countries were breaking. This made them worry about America's security. The F-35 jet program, meant to bring allies closer, was failing. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin openly spoke about how tariffs hurt military cooperation. General Charles Brown, a top military leader, warned that America's ability to work with its partners was getting weaker. This also made countries like Russia and China happy, as they watched America's alliances grow apart. Military leaders believed that strong friendships were key for American safety. Companies that build weapons were in a panic. Lockheed Martin, the company that makes the F-35 jet, was especially worried. Many countries, like Switzerland and Spain, were canceling orders or choosing not to buy the expensive jets. This meant the company was losing a lot of money, not just from sales, but because the F-35 became more expensive for everyone else. Thousands of American jobs across many states were now at risk. These companies tried hard to tell government officials about the dangers. They said that making allies angry would hurt the American economy and jobs, not help them. In the U.S. Congress, politicians from both big parties were deeply concerned. Republicans and Democrats agreed that the trade war was a bad idea for America's future. Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican, warned that commercial disagreements should not destroy the security friendships that kept America safe for many years. Senator Jack Reed, a Democrat, said the government's actions were strategically confused and could cause a lot of damage. Members of Congress were getting many calls and letters from allied governments. These friends were telling them directly about their worries over American reliability.
These politicians believed that America needed its allies to stay strong and safe in the world. The feeling of worry grew bigger each day in Washington as America's friends turned away. 8. The final cost. This story shows a big problem for America's leadership. Countries that were friends no longer trust the U.S. as much. For many years, America was a strong world leader, and its allies felt safe buying American weapons. But President Donald Trump's trade war changed things. He put new taxes on goods from friendly nations, making allies angry. They began to ask, why buy American weapons if the U.S. treats us poorly in trade? This led countries like Switzerland and Spain to refuse the F-35 fighter jet. The F-35 program needed many international buyers to keep costs low. When allies stopped buying, the planes became much more expensive for everyone, including the U.S. military. This also put American jobs at risk. The trade war did not help America's economy, it hurt it. The trade war also weakened groups like NATO. Countries that usually worked together started planning their own weapons. They wanted to be more independent. This made rivals like Russia and China happy, seeing America's friends move away. Inside America, many leaders worried. Military officials, company heads, and politicians thought the trade war was a bad idea. They saw America's global power shrinking. They understood that trustworthy friends are key for national security. Now, America must make a choice. It can continue current policies or change them. If it does not change, it risks losing its friends and its power in the world. The F-35 rebellion is a strong warning. It shows that allies prefer independence over unfair treatment. This situation is very serious for America's future. Do you think countries are right to reject American weapons because of a trade war?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.